Why would we revolt when we think we're already free? How is everyone doing today? I'm Thomas, and welcome. This is my channel that I do mostly educational stuff, the esoteric and the arcane, but things I think are very important, but that you might not have heard of, you might not know anything about, you might have seen it before, but you don't know what it is. You might have heard about it, but just the name. And so I'm hopefully going to be bringing a lot of those things to light, things that I've studied that I think are important. As a, I'm a historian, so I've sat in the stacks of libraries and looked at books that hadn't been checked out in 40 years and uncovered some gems along with a lot of garbage also. So hopefully I'm trying to help you to prevent yourself from wasting your time by eliminating all the chaff and sharing all the good stuff with you. One of the gems that I've uncovered is the Tree of Life, which isn't such a big secret, although it's fairly difficult to figure out, to get information about it. People have seen the diagram, but there's a lot of kind of bad information out there about how the Tree of Life can be used and what it means. They shroud it in all this mysterious language, and they want everything to be kind of a secret. But I think the time for secrets is pretty much over. And so we need to just put the information out there. You can take it or leave it, and if you can't handle it, then, don't take it. So anyway, the Tree of Life has got 10 different spheres, which are circles here on the diagram that are numbered 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then there is an abyss above an abyss right here in the middle. And then there is a 0 above the tree. So there's 12 different components, 12 different major components to the tree, which are really our 12 faculties of consciousness. They describe 12 different faculties of consciousness, which shortly would be our animal consciousness. This is our instinct, fight or flight reflex, impulse, wild animal consciousness, whereas this maybe is more mammalian. This is our domestic consciousness as we're growing up in the home. The first couple years of our lives, 5 years of our lives, or maybe a little more, where we're really super highly receptive. We're like sponges, soaking up everything, but particularly from our caregivers, and we pretty much just soak it up, memorize what they did, and imitate what they did. And then the A sphere is really about going out into the so-called real world, and we kind of do the same thing with soaking up the belief systems that are being offered to us, and the paradigms, the worldviews that are being offered by the experts here in the A sphere. So the teachers and the preachers and the media, and the doctors, they tell us what we're supposed to believe about things, and then we soak that up, and then we at the A sphere, we blindly accept that. But we can also, not accept it, see things wrong with it, see clear of it, discern, and that moves us over here to the 7th sphere, which is while the eighth sphere is like the real world, the seventh sphere is like the imaginary world. So the seventh sphere is, kind of for dreamers who see something wrong and they imagine something better. They imagine it and they are inspired by that. They intuit a different way to do it, and they come up with alternatives, which are their creative, which use their creative juices, and they maybe come up with a song or a poem that comments upon the eighth sphere and also gives an alternative to it. Same with inventions, coming up with an invention that improves upon, what's going on here in the institutions. So the seventh sphere embodies all those creative aspects, and the inspiration of the seventh sphere moves us up to the sixth sphere, which is, the 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. And this puts us at our free will faculty. This is our free will faculty, our ability to pay attention and to make decisions. Normally, our attention is directed down to the bottom of the tree, looking at our conditionings, our likes and dislikes, our belief, the status quo, and we try to, stay looking down the tree because it's comfortable. It's what we grew up with. It's what we're used to. And so at the sixth sphere, our free will decision making requires us to turn our attention around and to put our attention up into the spiritual aspects of ourselves. So we have to, avert our attention from the lower aspects and move it to the higher aspects. Unfortunately, that requires a lot of courage because normally these areas of the tree are not well developed, not like these are. So we end up kind of looking into the unknown, which it causes fear. So we can kind of break through our fear if we're able to begin to develop these areas, but it's a long process. So the first one of these developing areas here is the fifth sphere, our sense of justice. And the sense of justice is also known as karma. As you sow, so shall you reap. What comes around goes around. And for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And this karma is normally based on violence and waste. And to the extent that our behaviors create violence and waste, we get that feedback fed back to us. And so we can learn to fine-tune our behavior to eliminate violence and waste from our behaviors if we pay attention to the feedback. And so this is also the enforcement of the law, the natural law, not the law, not the cops or the judge, but the law, the natural law, which is articulated here as a cosmology or a theory of everything, where through scientific investigation, not science, but scientific investigation, experimentation, experience, and just living life, that people over time can develop a cosmology about how the world really works, how things are interrelated, what is their form and what's their function, how do they all work together. And some cosmologies are better than others, but the ones that are the best are the ones that stand the test of time. Okay, and so the laws articulated here at the fourth sphere, and it's enforced here at the fifth sphere. And we kind of are able to pay attention to all that here at the sixth sphere. Then we get to the abyss, which is our psychic powers. This is recognizing omens or universal messages, recurring numbers, recurring themes, coincidences, things that are uncanny that happen to us in our lives. Those are pointers for us to pay attention to, so that because they contain bits and pieces of information that we need to that we need in our lives. And so there's two parts to this. Two parts to our psychic powers. One is psychic receptivity, the ability to recognize those omens, and then psychic heat, which is our ability to actually act upon those omens, which also requires courage. And so there's kind of a 6-sphere tie-in here with that. The psychic powers are normally represented by 2 snakes. The psychic receptivity is the purple snake called in the Egyptian, that's called Nekabet. And the red snake is the psychic heat that corresponds to the 6th sphere in a way, which is called Wachet. And, so it requires us to put ourselves out there to act upon the omen. And so we have to, have a great deal of courage to be able to do that. 3, 2, and 1 have to do with our divine faculties within. Omnipotence, our power of omnipotence that we can tap into through mantra and other sound synchronization practices. The 2nd sphere is omniscience, or all-knowing, or wisdom, the ability to solve problems, which is tapped into through the other side of our brain, through the visual side, that through light, sound and light. And we have to block off the sound, or at least not turn the sound into content. We might still hear the thoughts that we're having, but we don't go with them. We don't, we don't have sensations that we stick with. We can have the sensations and we notice them, but that's all we do, is we notice them and we maintain our attention on what's going on right now. Normally with our brain function, we have sensations and then we go into the content. We go, oh, I like that. Oh, that was comfortable. Oh, that hurt. Oh, that was good. That was bad. Oh, that's a great idea. Let me think about that more. So our mind, we have a thought, and then our minds drift toward that thought and amplify it, and then turn it into a thought stream. And those thought streams are what take us away from meditation. So we have to be able to, it's very, very difficult. We have to be able to, take those thoughts from our mind and not turn them into all these different stories and judgments about things, but instead continue to pay attention to the object of our meditation, whether it's our breathing or our sensations. And through that, then eventually we'll get to the point where we're able to kind of see through all of the problems that we're trying to solve, and we're able to kind of see the improbable or impossible ways of solving it, which normally our mind is over here is rejecting. Oh, that'll never work. Oh, you can't do it like that because of this or that. But when we put down that side, then these things emerge, and they emerge as solutions to the problem. Okay, then the 1st sphere above the tree is our unifying faculty, because it's like the ether. It is what underlies everything, and what underlies everything is the same spark that underlies me is the same spark that underlies you and everybody else. And so that unites us at our centers. And then the 0 is, and this is omniscient. I mean omnipresence, all present, all the time, everywhere, eternally. And then the 0 above the tree is an eternal mystery, something that we can't solve, something that we can only indirectly experience, and it is, you know, the part of the universe that the Creator reserves for itself. So the Creator knows, but we don't. Okay, now what I've done with my model is I've taken those 12 different faculties and I've divided them again by 12 different by the same 12 faculties. So I basically taken it to another level of, you know, definition. And I've come up with 144 different fractal faculties for each tree. And so those are really what I call the 144 stages, dramatic stages of life. So that is kind of just a educational tool. And I have a list of those that if you'd like me to send them to you, I'd be happy to for free. If you just click the link in the description, I'll send it out. And, you know, that will help you as you watch these different videos that I do of all the 144 different stages. Today, we're looking at stage number 28. The question was, why would we revolt when we think we're already free? And stage number 28 is called Cool Front. Stage number 28 is about the deception. Oh, just to mention this cool front, what we have here is we're in the A sphere, and we are at the 7th fractal of the A sphere. So the A sphere is about the institutions, the belief systems, but the A sphere is also a trickster, and we're within the 7th fractal of that. So the 7th sphere is kind of about the alternative to the A sphere. And so the 7th fractal of the A sphere can be really thought of as a fake 7th sphere. So it's a place where you think you're in the 7th sphere. You think you're providing an alternative. You think you're, providing meaningful dissent to the A sphere. That you see the problems with the A sphere, and you're trying to change them. So you think you're making changes, but you're still actually in the A sphere. You're just in the 7th fractal of the A sphere. And so it's a fake A sphere, a fake 7th sphere is basically what the cool front is. Stage number 28 is about the deception to convince us that we are progressive and subversive when we are actually regressive and controlled. The powers that be trick us by distracting us with tokens and tidbits of concession. Blue jeans, rock and roll, casual sex, tattoos, piercings, long hair, and colored people who now matter. We pander. Pepsi over Coke. VW and Volvo over the Detroit blokes. A revolution, or just the prevention of one? Hiding behind the cool front, a tightly circumscribed freedom of expression in an expensive guard uniform. Freedom dumb, freedom dummy. The powers that be let us vent a little. Vent till later. Ventriloquist traitors and conspirators. Excuse me. Who own a dummy named Sleepy Sloppy. His handlers hands behind his back, putting words into the dummy's masks. He has frequent malfunctions, but his gait is state-of-the-art robot. It's all about protecting our dumb-dumbocracy. It's all about our freedom-dumb, you freedom dummies. Not only a ventriloquist dummy, but also a dummy with heels up called Kamal, groomed by a cabal, a different kind of dummy, more like a man, more like a mannequin dummy with a man suit. And then there's the drug-eating, curious, gorgeous crash test dummy from right down the street at the factory, safely behind the cool front. The powers that be's ventriloquist traitors and shadowy conspirators could not get away with this without a tightly restricted freedom of expression. Look at our blank faces, like NPCs who support the current thing, support the current narrative, so we're anti-conservative, as we root for Sleepy Sloppy and Azovs we do not see. Hide away and forget today and relive the glory day over and over, and mainline our kids for Grover in the shelter of the cool front. Just ignore reality and play nice. Steer clear of the taboo topics. Don't mention the secret coup d'etats, the black budget sci-fi space flick plots. Never play devil's advocate or mention his worship, child sex or sacrifice. Don't mention all the missing children, all the death by doctors, all the organ harvesting, the allopathic horrors. Never brought up, or you'll be called weird or irresponsible, a nutcase outside the cool front. Don't mention the megadeath in Cambodia after we brought the troops home. Things we can't mention if we want protection from the cool front. The powers that be hand us trivial freedoms and make us think we won them. The powers that be trick us into thinking we're so cool and hip, free thinkers expressing freedom. But our best shot is not even a drop in the bucket and is neutralized even before it fizzles out. Without discernment, sometimes we think we're inspired when we're really just incited by the cool front. So we sponsor vegan bake sales and cancer fun runs, anarchist punk benefits for their parents' lawyers to clear the kids' records after they cuffed some isht up. The cool front leaves us out on a limited hangout, almost within striking distance. We are controlled opposition, the co-opposition, experiencing co-optation. They're throwing us a bone in return for our silence. But if we see through the cool front, it can still be a bridge to the true, an opportunity. If we take what they do give us, if we take what life gives us, and research and develop it on our own. Just be grateful the powers that be had to concede to us another standard deviation to express ourselves, just to fool us, just to lure us. And maybe it can be just enough space to wake up to the hidden hand behind their gang of dummies. Okay, that's number 28. It's called the Cool Front, the seventh fractal of the A sphere, also known as the fake seventh sphere. And the powers that be here at the A sphere, they have some other fake spheres that reside within them, because the A sphere is a trickster. You know, probably the first, trick is to get us to think that that belief systems are true, when in fact belief is actually the admission that you don't know. So that is the video for today. Please press the like button if you if you got something out of this, and then you can also share the video and subscribe. And I've got my Cash App and my Venmo contacts there if you'd like to make a donation toward further videos. And stay tuned for the rest of the 144 Fractal Faculties. I think this is number 57. I mean, this is the 57th one. This is number 28. I'm ripping them off out at random here. So the numbers don't coincide with the ordinal numbers. Anyway, have a nice day, and we'll see you next time.